Hi, how's everybody doing today? Hope you are doing well. Yes, I am on my walk again, so I can think a little better. I realize my head is more clear when I can do this. Um, I want to talk about, the America healthcare system today, and purely this is purely my own opinion, coming from somebody who's grown up to be a pretty problematic person. Now, when I said problematic, I don't mean that I cause trouble and getting beat up and being sent to the hospital. Maybe I did. So I want to talk about our healthcare system, the American healthcare system. Actually, I should say the United States healthcare system. Now, America stands for pretty much Canada, and Mexico is also considered America as well. So the U.S. healthcare system and what I really think about it. It's a little bit overcast today, so I'm actually out a little bit earlier than my usual time. As you can see, the cloud is pretty dark, which is good. Give me a little more time to walk a little bit further. So, little disclaimer: everything I talked about are purely my experience and my opinion in regards to any of the medical conditions or things I talked about, or things I have experienced on my own in the past or currently still experiencing. So if you need any medical advice, please reference those to your doctor. Thank you. The U.S. healthcare system. Now, if I say our healthcare system is extremely poor, very unorganized, I would probably be lying to you. I have been to, a few countries, and not all, but a few countries, and I have used their hospital facilities before, doctors' clinics before, for treatments, and is the U.S. healthcare system. It's honestly, I want to say it's pretty decent. Is it perfect? No, it's by far from it. Now, the U.S. healthcare system, we are based on doctors who, practice individually. There's hardly any hospitals where you can actually go and doctors will be practicing out of the hospital. Now, you do have some facilities like that, like Kaiser, the university medical centers. They do have some doctors there, but generally in the U.S., all the doctors are having their own private practice, and our healthcare system is very closely tied to the insurance industry, as well as the big pharma industry. So it's kind of hard to get around one another. Now, the worst part, I'll talk about the bad part about the system first. The bad part about the U.S. system is, like I said, everybody practice individually. Now, it's very hard for you to go see a doctor, on demand. Now, let's say you have generally you have a cold and flu, that kind of comes on pretty quickly, right? And when you're pretty sick, you really want to go see a doctor right there and then. But it's not necessarily that you need to go to the hospital, but you just want to go see a doctor. Maybe hopefully the doctor can prescribe something and you can go home and take some of those medication and get better quickly. But you know, since doctors practice on their own private practice, you have to make an appointment, and then the appointment, generally you have to wait 2 to 3 weeks before you can see them. But you know, if you have catch a cold and flu, hopefully nothing major. If anything major, yeah, you're gonna have to get to the hospital. But if it's something minor, 2 or 3 weeks, you'll be fine. You're already well already. You don't need to see a doctor. But you know, for some chronic patients who don't know if they have something that's major and you can't get to see a doctor immediately, a few weeks can actually turn into something pretty bad. You know, lucky when I was a kid in the US, when I was young in the US, I deal with a lot of the Asian doctors, and luckily, yeah, hard word for me to say, luckily, a lot of the Asian doctors, they would take walk-ins. But I know many of the American doctors, I do have a lot of American doctors, white or other ethnicities, they don't take walk-ins, so there's no way you can go see them. Now, my issue, the biggest issue I have is you know, it's ankylosing spondylitis, which is a really major arthritis bone disease. And it starts hurting, and it can have major inflammation that cause extremely pain to the point that where it can actually damage the bone, and cannot walk, cannot get up. So yeah, and in my young days when it started hurting, I was not able to walk. So, and it came on pretty quickly. It's not like it took months and years to develop. It just kind of come on within the next few days, and it was so painful that I just really needed to go see a doctor. I need to get some medication, or at least to see what's going on. So again, luckily I was able to, you know, my parents take me to these doctors, family doctors that can take walk-ins, and I was able to get some pain medications, non-steroid anti-inflammatory drugs. You know, the one you cannot get over the counter, but the one over the counter is it's much lighter, but the one the doctor prescribed is you know, stronger. So it's just those incidents, you know, I need to see a doctor very quickly, and in many situations you cannot. The only time, you know, able to see, even if I, you know, was able to see a doctor on demand, I was only able to see the family doctor. But any specialist is not possible until you make an appointment for, you know, weeks after. Yeah, and I was in quite a bit of pain, and it took a while before I was able to actually, I was referred to Children's Hospital, and maybe I think, well, if I remember correctly, it was like a 2 months appointment before I was able to get to the Children's Hospital and get a lot of images done and things of that sort. So that's really a bad part. You can't see a doctor on demand. The other part is seeing a doctor here is quite expensive. And you know, the US dollar is probably one of the strongest monetary value in the world. Seeing a doctor is very expensive. especially if you have to go to the hospital. Oh my God, those hospital bills are just pretty ridiculous. Now, having insurance, it's good, but even having private insurance, there's also a deductible. A friend of mine, they just went to the hospital recently. You have insurance, very good insurance. You still have to end up with he still has to pay out $1,000 out of his own pocket for, the hospital treatment. So going to the hospital for any particular reason, going to ER, I see bills for me at times just going in there just for a day, and then they'll release you, and you can see the bill. It's like $10,000, $20,000 for like a one night visit or a few hours visit. That's pretty ridiculous. And if I have to stay overnight, I see bills are going to $30,000, $40,000. I had surgeries, hip surgeries in my hips for from the bone disease. Oh my God, that bill was in the 1990s was almost like $80,000 in the 90s. Now, I think easily that bill can be like $120,000 to $150,000. But yeah, it's all billed to the insurance, but it's still pretty crazy. That's the bad part about the U.S. Healthcare system. In contrast, in other countries, many of the doctors actually practice out of the hospital. Especially some of the country that has universal health care, they have government hospitals, as well as they do also have private hospitals as well, and I have actually been to both. Now the government hospital, it's a lot cheaper, but unfortunately I am not a citizen of that country, so I have to come out with some money. I was in Hong Kong many times, and I've been to the hospital over there many times. Now their government hospital, it was $1,000 Hong Kong dollar per visit at the time. In the 2000, in the early 2000s. That's about $120 US at the time, roughly, per visit, which is not so bad. That was it. It's only one fee, and then I was able to do quite a lot of exams over there. Doctors see me. They gave me X-rays and blood tests. It's all that one fee. That was it. EKGs. I was having chest pains, so it was EKGs and all that. All that was done over $120, which is not bad. You cannot even go see a regular doctor for $120 here, and for a 10-minute visit with them. So the hospital over there, and seeing a doctor is a little bit easier. I've also been to other countries where accessing healthcare are actually quite tough. Not to talk about poor countries, but even countries with fairly good money. But many years ago, it was pretty hard to even access some of the hospitals. And if you don't have any money, forget it. You just cannot go see a doctor, and it's just how it is. So at least being in the U.S. healthcare system, if you go to the hospital, and if you go to a doctor, well, you still have to pay up front. But if you go to the hospital here, they'll take care of your condition first, make sure you don't die or have any severe issues. The other bad part about the system is that they'll bill you and they can send you to collection. I kid you not. There's one time that I had to use the ambulance I noticed I have insurance. For some reason, they're not very good at, writing it down or keeping a record of it. So they keep saying that I don't have any insurance. They keep on billing me 6 months later. I get bills coming in and I kind of ignore them. By the 9th month, I have collection agencies calling me. And the collection agency says, we are collecting for a certain amount that you have not paid. And I was like, what? I have insurance. And I I end up giving them the insurance and they never bother me again. But yeah, it's I don't know I don't know if they still do that or not, but they used to. Hospitals as well. So if they don't have your insurance and all that, after a few months, if you don't pay it up, they'll send it to collections, and you could get your credit records messed up because of that. But in other countries, if you don't have the money, you just can't see a doctor at all. They won't even see you. So everything has to be paid up front. So I mean, in a way, we're really not perfect. And I think the healthcare system completely messed up after the pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic. And I don't think it's only the U.S. Healthcare system. You see that we can't treat all those people. We have bodies outside, with the frozen trailers. You see all that on the news. But in other countries, you can see that there's not even frozen trucks out there. They're just burning the dead bodies, on the ground. There's just not enough mortuary to deal with that. So I think after the pandemic, the whole world's healthcare system just pretty much went to hell. And the reason why I say that is because, before the pandemic, yeah, if you need to make an appointment, you can get it in about 2 to 3 weeks, pretty much regardless of any condition, any specialist, with the exception of my children's hospital. But now it doesn't matter which doctor. It's a minimum of 2 to 3 months minimum. And the worst right now, I think, is mental health. Oh my God, it's like a 4 to 5 months minimum to see a psychiatrist. Is everybody having a mental breakdown these days? My goodness. Yeah, in any doctors, like if I'm scheduling to see a new rheumatologist, my God, I was put on a 2 months wait. Lucky I was seeing a previous one before transfer to the new one. So is every other doctors, cardiologists, pulmonologists, same for everybody. So the wait is extremely long. I don't know why after the pandemic that everybody seems to make other people wait that long, or is everybody, a lot more people getting sick after the pandemic? So no idea. But again, at least the United States healthcare system is treating people a little better than in other countries. But I can't say, like I said, I can't say our system is better than everybody in the world, because I have not gone around the whole world. Canada has a universal health care, and their hospitals are, they just go there. You don't need insurance. You already pay for it through your taxes, and they got doctors there to see you. So, and I talked about Hong Kong. Hong Kong adopted the British healthcare system, so technically I guess there's no difference than you going to the hospital or see a doctor at the UK. You still can see a private doctor, but that's probably going to cost a lot more, and probably have to schedule an appointment with them as well. But that's how we do things here, and you know, being a very problematic person, my suggestion for anybody who needs to go see a doctor for any particular reason is nowadays you have to be very proactive. And I don't mean if you got a problem, you need to go see a doctor. You call them up, they said, oh, it's a 3 months wait, and we're just going to sit there and wait 3 months. Sometimes the condition cannot wait, or you're in pain, or any other issues that you might want to see a doctor sooner. So make sure you ask them if they have any, that you know if there's any cancellation. At the same time, you might want to see if there's other doctors available that can see you sooner. That will really be helpful. Yeah. So that's really my suggestion. You got to be a lot more proactive, and then you have to push them to get the approvals quicker. Whatever is necessary, imaging, blood tests. So you got to really push them. Otherwise, you know, it's just going to be piled up weeks after weeks, and like I said, certain conditions cannot wait. So that's my suggestion. The other bad part is I talk about the insurance. Doctors are very closely tied to the insurance company, you know, our healthcare system. And if you don't have insurance, you know, you're trying to go see a doctor, it could be very costly. You can pay for it, it is costly, but if you have insurance, you still have to you know, get approval. If you got HMO, and if you have PPO, if you're lucky enough to get PPO, you have to pay a little more. But if you know, you can see a doctor. You know, I do wish honestly, you know, people said universal health care has their problems. I agree. You know, private insurance is expensive. Universal health care has their issues too. You know, you don't have enough hospitals, and everybody goes to the same hospital to see, you know, these same doctors. You could also get pretty busy as well. So, and then they have to take a lot more tax money out of you. Yeah, there's a good and bad side about pretty much everything. So there's always a good and bad with every healthcare system, regardless if you have to wait for an appointment, or if it's expensive, or you can't even see a doctor if you don't have any money. So what's better? I don't know, but I can tell you the US still has the best medical treatment, you know, around the world. It could be an overstatement. Some people might disagree with me, but you know, knowing the you know, the science and how modern medical, how fast we are moving, our treatment system is very advanced over here. And not to mention, we have every single medication that you can think of here that you can get for pretty much any kind of condition. I remember how, you know, the COVID-19, we talk about hydroxychloroquine can possibly be a treatment. You know, the US has locked up all of the supplies, and the other rest of the countries around the world just cannot get anything. So if that was a treatment, then we have everything here. So I guess as talk about what we did is a different video or different conversation. We have extremely knowledgeable doctors and very advanced treatment here in the US. Treatment in these not so advanced countries can be pretty problematic, and doctors might not be as knowledgeable as well. For example, I have an uncle who is traveling, and he's in his senior age. He has some urology problems, and he went to a doctor over there in the hospital, and it's actually quite a pretty well-known hospital. And the first thing that they want him to do is say, oh, we have to do surgery on you and cut off something that's blocking it inside or causing inflammation. That scared the whatever you call it out of him. And he lucky he did not went through the surgery. What he asked for is what they can do for him on the short term. They gave him a hose to a urine bag and a hose in there for the meantime, and he changed his flight to come back to the US. As soon as he came back, went to see a urologist here, and all the urologist did was gave him some medication or some antibiotic, whatever it was, and I took care of the problem within a week. So treatment in other countries can be doctors can they don't know as much, and a lot of times they can jump into conclusion, or they wanted to make money out of you and have you go into surgery before anything else. Like what we do here is surgery is usually the last option if everything else fell, right? So that's my experience. Has it been good? Generally, mostly has been good. Could it be better? Yeah, absolutely. If I can, or if anybody, not just me, if anybody can see a doctor immediately for the conditions, would be great. Yeah, there are some certain stuff that other countries would be better. I mean, we're better in other aspects, and I'm sure there's nothing is perfect, and we do have more advanced medical treatment here for sure. So what's your experience like? Was it pretty bad for you, or has it been good for you? I know the appointment thing has become pretty problematic or pretty hectic for many of us these days, especially, like I said, after COVID-19. But besides that, has it been how's the experience with you and the US healthcare system? How you get treatments and everything else. So yeah, let me know, leave me a message. That's all for this video. Again, this is purely my own opinion on the healthcare system. So if you have any medical concerns, medical questions, please contact your doctor. And sorry for the wind noise. Again, thank you for watching. That's all for my videos for today. So if you like my video, please give me a like, and if you can subscribe, would be great. I guess I will be talking about some other stuff next time. Thank you. Hope you all have a great day. Take care and be safe. See you on the next one. Bye bye.